Remember that phrase? The one Jesse and James would always say after Ash and Pikachu would wipe the floor with them? Yeah, the enemy kinda did Team Rocket dirty, but genuinely, they're a very evil organization. Even just playing through the old games, you might have missed some of the dastardly things they have done, but that's why I'm here. I wanted to do a deep dive into Team Rocket to see exactly how evil they truly are. If you've been living under a rock, or maybe just under the age of like 15, Team Rocket was the very first evil team introduced in Pokemon. Their main focus is obtaining rare or strong Pokemon by any means necessary. They use these Pokemon for inhumane, or in Pokemane, experiments and research. They also sell them to fund even more research. They've gone so far as to even kill some Pokemon, which I'll touch on later. They strive to take over the world by utilizing Pokemon however they can. They even have an oath that could be seen in their base in Mahogany Town in the Gen 2 games. Steal Pokemon for profit, exploit Pokemon for profit, all Pokemon exist for the glory of Team Rocket. Kinda fucked up. So just what can we see Team Rocket doing? Let's go back to Kanto, and more specifically, Mount Moon. Mount Moon is the cave system between Pewter City and Cerulean City. This is where you find your first ever fossil. At some point, you run into a man dressed in all black with an R on his chest, a Team Rocket grunt. If you talk to them, well, one specific one, they would tell you that they plan on selling all the fossils they find in this cave for profit. Okay, now that's not too bad, but let's move now to Cerulean City and go a little north, right up to Nugget Bridge there. A bridge full of trainers, and at the end of this whole gauntlet, there's another grunt who's standing there. He seems to be in charge of all the battles on this bridge, looking for recruits to join Team Rocket, and he actually asks you because you're so strong, which, hopefully, and I think forcibly, you have to say no to. Now fast forward a little bit later, there's a house in Cerulean City that was broken into. The cops are there, they're interrogating people, but what happened? Turns out Team Rocket broke in and stole a TM from the man that lives there. Again, these guys don't seem super evil, no? Well, just you wait. Remember the game corner in Celadon City? You can gamble there and use your coins to get rare Pokemon like Dratini and Porygon, among some others. In fact, this is actually the only way to get Porygon in the first generation. And maybe you never put two and two together, but this is Team Rocket's doing. And even though it is referred to as Rocket Game Corner sometimes, you might have missed that. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so all those Pokemon that you grinded in the Game Corner to try to get enough coins for, they were probably stolen from someone and sold illegally, and you fed right into it. Good job. Team Rocket has now officially moved up from petty theft to poaching. Yay. Well, let's crank it up a little bit more and move over to Lavender Town with the whole Marowak saga. Team Rocket was trying to steal Cubone skulls to sell for profit. Shocker. In the midst of doing so, the mother of one of the Cubone defended it and was killed by Team Rocket. And now we add murder to the list. And after they killed the Marowak, a man named Mr. Fuji went to calm down its spirit and was kidnapped and held hostage by Team Rocket. Oh man, they're really piling it on now. Also unrelated, but kind of a fun fact, Mr. Fuji was friends with Blaine, the Cinnabar gym leader, and may have had a hand in the creation of Mewtwo. Interesting. Anyways, around the same time as this is all going down, other members of Team Rocket have invaded Silphco in Saffron City. Many civilians were trapped there as it was overtaken. You eventually find the president of Silphco, accompanied by another man, which we finally find out is the leader of Team Rocket, Giovanni. Once you find him, you can actually battle him, and once you defeat him, he will retreat and halt his plans on stealing the schematics for the Master Ball, which you were then gifted. Because why wouldn't you give it to a 10-year-old, you know? It just makes too much sense. As you progress through Kanto, you have to go through and fight gyms. Once you get to the 8th gym, you realize that it's a familiar face that's actually the gym leader, none other than Giovanni. After this defeat, he acknowledges you as being stronger and vows to disband Team Rocket, because, of course, you can just trust his word on that. He then disappears and leaves Kanto, leaving a gym leader spot empty. Someone's got to fill that soon, right? Now, let's fast forward to Fire Red and Leaf Green, which are still Kanto games, but there's a little more to them. If you make your way to the Sevi Islands, Team Rocket has a small group stationed on 5 Island, tasked to look for the Ruby and Sapphire gems. While you make your way through their hideout there, you actually can run into a bunch of locked cages, and we can only assume that Pokemon were locked in them either currently or at one point, as we can't actually see into them right now. There are several admins stationed here, and once you defeat them, they don't want to give up, but When they see the badge that you got from Giovanni, they decide to retreat as you already defeated their boss. And that's the last you see of them in Kanto. Onwards to Johto. Our first look at Team Rocket 3 years after Giovanni's defeat comes at Slowpoke Well in Azalea Town, right before the second gym leader. You find out that Team Rocket plans on selling Slowpoke tails on the black market for money to help fund their return. Okay, sounds like they're going a little backwards from where they ended up, but that's fine. They gotta start somewhere, right? Continuing on through the region, you'll find grunts scattered about. One can be found in Goldenrod around the radio tower. Foreshadowing. One was harassing a kimono girl in Akritique City, and then also on your way to the Lake of Rage, north of Mahogany Town, you'll find a few there just kind of taking toll money for some reason, which I always fall for that trap. Huh. Oh well. Once you calm down the raging Gyarados at the Lake of Rage, wow, what a fitting name. It's almost like it was designed that way or something. You can head back to Mahogany and find Team Rocket's hidden base underneath the store there. Here, they have a machine that emits high-frequency waves which can brainwash Pokemon and induce evolution, like the Magikarp in the Lake of Rage. And this is because Gyarados are much more valuable and sell for a lot more than the puny little Magikarp there. Because, you know, who wants to buy a fish when you could buy a freaking monster? Once defeated, they retreat once again, but this time they flee to the Goldenrod radio tower. See, I told you there was foreshadowing. They then try to contact Giovanni with no response. You eventually find the radio station manager there, but it was actually a Team Rocket admin, Petrol, in disguise. Once you defeat him, he tells you where the real manager is, so you can retrieve him and make sure he is safe and sound. Once that's taken care of, you can finally climb the rest of the radio tower, where you find Archer, the interim head of Team Rocket. Once you defeat him and his 3 Pokemon under level 40, he just gives up and disbands Team Rocket himself. Kind of a pussy move if you ask me, but that's neither here nor there. At the exact same moment that you were fighting these admins, far, far away in Toho Falls, a cave system between Kanto and Johto, Giovanni hears this radio message. If you go and travel there yourself, you gotta find the secret cave hidden behind the waterfall, but nothing will be there except a broken radio. However, if you experience the Celebi time travel event, you can actually travel back in time and battle Giovanni before he can rejoin his allies. He then complains about being beaten by children again. Oh, how the tables have turned. And also, just something funny I wanted to point out. His original team in red and blue as the gym leader looks like this. You know, pretty decent for a gym leader. Not bad as the 8th guy, sure. But his team, when you go back in time and fight him, is somehow worse. And keep in mind, this is 3 years after you face him the first time. So 3 years of training. So he has 1 less Pokemon. He has a Kangaskhan level 40, which is weaker than all of his other mons before. He has a level 43 Honchkrow. His Nidoqueen only gained 2 levels, and somehow his Nidoking lost 3 levels. So I'm not sure what kind of training he was doing, but it wasn't very successful. No wonder Silver hates his dad. This guy fucking sucks. So anyways, just a quick recap of what Team Rocket has done. Infinite counts of Pokemon cruelty, theft, breaking and entering, and illegitimate buying and selling, poaching, all that kind of fun stuff. Several counts of harassment, 1 count murder, and 1 count of being a really shitty dad. And maybe this is just my Gen 1-erness showing, but I think Team Rocket's pretty good, as evil teams go. Definitely done better in Kanto than in Johto, but I liked how they gave us a little more in-depth explanation in that little time travel event. But what do you think of them? Are they good, bad, overrated, underrated, just old? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. And while you're there, please consider subscribing. And until the next time, have a great one.